Dr. Beatrice EPWENE here at Penn State University, Harrisburg campus. I am faculty in the Department of Communication here, and my topic today is Blueprint for AI-powered code-free software development, a formula for non-technical subject matter experts. So this paper, this presentation today is one of 3 parts that I've done in the past at other ICONSIS conferences before. This is the 3rd section. The first part looked at social science and humanities scholars building their own software. The second is how do you build with code-free software? And then the third is a sample that I have to show. So this came about because if you are in the human and social sciences like me, we all have ideas in our heads about different types of software that we could use in our research. But because we don't know how to write programming languages or we don't know how to code, we are usually stuck. We don't know what to do with these ideas because processes on our campuses to get IT support or money to go hire a developer is scarce. And especially if you're in the humanities or the social sciences, you're not top of mind for university executives. They're looking at people in computer science, engineering, those kind of things. And that leaves us who have creative ideas. We're trying to find a way. Sometimes you start working with a colleague and then they, ghost you or the money is run out and so on. So I had this problem for ideas that I wanted to see out there in the world that didn't exist, that do not exist. And so I started finding ways, though I don't know how to program, how can I make these ideas come to life? Because I'd already been disappointed a few times. So that is what has sent me down this new research area or about citizen development, what they call citizen non-technical developers or code-free developers who are not computer science experts, but who want to build software. Okay, so this blueprint, I'm trying to help others who may want to do this too. How do you start? What do you start with? And where do you go? So I start by assuming that you are an expert in a certain area of knowledge, that you know the problems of that field, and that you think that some of these problems can be automated, that computer can help in some of these problems that you're seeing, okay? And you have this idea to build your own software in your expert area, okay? And you think that this problem is too hard for hand coding, manual analysis, things like that, too time consuming and expensive, all right? So, and this problem that you are identifying in your area of expertise has not risen to recognition by these people in IT and computer science, okay? And because they are not in your field, so they don't know about that problem, but you do, okay? So I'm assuming that that's the kind of person that you are. And we live these days in the computer revolution. We all know that computer software applications and now AI have revolutionized the way we live our lives in every way. This AI and software has already changed businesses, it has increased productivity, and it's inevitable even in our own research, okay? So the research shows that software adoption is already happening in other fields, but is lagging in the humanities and in social science research, especially because we are not coders. So that is the kind of problem that I'm thinking of how we can resolve, or at least start resolving. Okay, so there's a shortage of software builders who know programming language in the humanities. We are still shying away from software builds to answer humanistic questions because we don't know programming, etc. So these low code and no code platforms exist out there these days, okay? They make it possible today. You don't have to know how to program, but you can still realize the ideas in your head to bring your own builds to life. So we don't have to be dependent anymore. We cannot go out and hire expensive builders. They have democratized software building. These low code, no code platforms have revolutionized software building so that now citizen builders, as they call us, those of us who are not in the computer science, are calling us citizen builders. So now we have the chance, Okay, and as I was sharing a little bit earlier, this came from my own experience. I've had several ideas over time. Some of the ideas I've had to give up because I couldn't find anyone. Sometimes I've been ghosted, I've been blown off. I've even tried to work with people internationally, still the same results. So I have abandoned some ideas, and actually I've seen some ideas that I have had before now in the world there where other people have done it because I couldn't do it. And I'm thinking that's exactly what I was thinking, and others have gone to build and to develop. So this wish then of know-how to bring my own ideas to life started. So I started finding the ways to bring my ideas to life, and then I discovered the world of code-free tools. Okay, now there are several advantages of using software in the humanities. As you know, humanities and social science studies always looks at idiosyncrasies of our research subjects. We want to study those very minute, important, but very details that may not apply to too many people. So you're looking for those things that are peculiar to your subjects that you are studying. And also we always deal with data at scale. You're either dealing with several transcripts of interviews, or you're looking at novels, or you're looking at newspaper articles. So we usually have a lot of data to pass. And so transcribing these things and working by hand have not always been possible. And so these days also you want things to be visual, right? After you do your findings, you want to have these nice dashboards or show your findings in charts and graphs and so on. And so you want to be able to do all of that. And then also to automate your work so that you can increase your efficiency. Those things that the software can help you track, then you don't have to track that. Okay, and so it increases your efficiency, it increases your time management and your work-life balance. Okay, so you can run observations, you can run regressions. Once you have digitized your data and automated it, then you can do all these other kind of studies that are out there, regressions, overtime observations. You can update quickly. Okay, you can ensure coder reliability even more because the computer is helping you. Okay, you can update information quickly as things are changing, and you can also share your findings and follow progression in real time. So these are so many advantages that I've discussed in other papers, and I'm just going through here. So how do you build then if you don't know computers, as we are saying, and you don't have the techniques? What should you do first? All right. So these days, there are several no-code, low-code platforms, okay? There are several platforms that are out there, and even that itself to now can start becoming confusing for a new builder, someone who has not explored this space before. You don't know which one of them. Some of them, they are out there, but they do different things, and they have different degrees of functionality. So some of them do very basic work, and some of them do too advanced work, which can even lead you to must know some kind of programming even to deal with them. But then there are some midway ones where that do significant work, and you can still get what you want without them being too simplistic or too advanced. And those are the ones that I recommend, or I would recommend for those of us who are just starting to use. Okay, so you don't have to know Python or JavaScript or C++ or any of those things. And so some of these ones have those steep learning curves where you still have to know that. There are packages that exist out there. There are things called libraries. There are things called APIs that you can bring into your no-code platform, and it will still give your software tremendous power to still be able to do different kinds of things that you want. Okay, and you don't have to depend on IT anymore, or the backup that you will be waiting and waiting. So how do you build? Democratization of software building with low-code tools. And then these days too with AI, once you build now and you include AI there, or what they're calling these days vibe coding, where you actually just dictate to the AI what you want to build, and then it writes the code for you. All those are different ways these days that we can go, and we can still discover or realize our builds. Okay, so the no-code tools they have kind of 3 levels, okay? There are a few examples out there in the market, just to mention a few, and you know that these things change every day. So you may go look next month and it might have changed. Bubble.io, for instance, is one of those that's really on the high end. It's a low code platform. It's really on the high end. In order to use it, you have to understand how to write bits of code before you can use that platform. So it is very good, but once you learn it, then you can build almost like a computer programmer, okay, once you learn how to. But the learning curve for a tool like that is a little bit too steep, so that somebody who's just starting out, you may feel discouraged, but you can still do it. Okay, and then another platform such as AppyPie, that one is one that is on the more simple side, where maybe if you're working with children, or maybe if you really want to produce a quick MVP, minimum viable product, then you can use something like AppyPie. Okay, but once you start to do some advanced elements on a platform like AppyPie, you will find that it is very limiting. Okay, then on the other hand, you have something that's middle of the road. Okay, very approachable for a new learner, like Glide. The platform is called Glide. It's very user-friendly for a new learner. You can get up and running very quickly. And also, because of the way the platform is built, you can use integrations, you can use APIs, you can use library and other packages that exist out there and bring them into your Glide platform. And now your Glide platform will become almost as powerful as any other software that a computer programmer sits and programs for months, okay? Because those packages and libraries, they already have things that you can just do drag, drop, point, click, almost as if you're making a PowerPoint. With these integrations onto the Glide platform, you can really build software that you want. And as I said earlier, these days, there's something also called Lovable, which is part of the new Vibe coding, where now you can just speak English to your computer and then it can write the code and rearrange things for you. So I'm really trying here to encourage my fellow people in the humanities and social sciences that let's not be afraid anymore. Let's not be afraid to try some of these things. You can even start your build and you get your idea down to a minimum product that now you can talk to people about. Then you can say to them, here is what I'm thinking. This is how I'm seeing it in my head. And here is my wireframe quick makeup. Can you now help me advance this or move it forward so that things are not just stuck in our heads, okay? I'm still trying to test the Lovable platform, the one where you just talk to, because I build very well on Glide, but I'm hearing about vibe coding and Lovable. I will test that. I haven't tested it yet. Okay, so, and then once you build, you can enhance your platform now with AI. So now you bring in your AI, your machine learning and algorithms now to help you do those calculations or automate those things that you would otherwise have been transcribing by hand and things like that. So you can add AI capabilities to your platform, and then you increase their build power exponentially. You even become more powerful now than the days before AI. I started looking at this topic before AI became a blown out thing in 2022. So I'm seeing now how much AI is even advancing the work that I've been looking at for a while. Okay, now you can bring the ideas out of your head onto, platforms, okay? AI can help you customize your instructions. You can actually teach your own AI or your algorithm how to recognize the things that you're going for, that you're looking to study, okay? And you can use plain English these days for prompting as well. So you don't even have to be a prompt expert. You can even ask the AI, give it the ideas that you have and tell it to adjust it to give you the better prompt. And then you can use that same prompt to prompt it, okay? So why are these platforms good? These platforms good? They have appropriate build systems. They have components that are drag drop. They have libraries that are pre-prepared. And if you find a mid-level platform like Glide, there are other ones, but Glide is the example that I really use. Then you can see how much you can do with this. You can create nice interfaces. Your app application or your software or your platform will look just like any other one that you see in Apple Store or Google Play Store and things like that. You have graphical user interface. You do drag and drop, point and click. Okay, you use APIs to add them to so that your software can talk to each other. For instance, if you want to sell things on that platform, for instance, and you don't want to take people's credit cards and handle all that kind of information, you could just integrate a payment system like PayPal or Stripe or any other one. Just as an example, if you are going for databases of reporters or court cases, you just bring in an API from the law department and bring it into your platform so that it makes your work go easier. Okay, you can link software to one another. They can talk to each other and even become more powerful. And the thing is, these platforms live in the cloud. They're part of the software as a service or platform as a service. So they live in the cloud. You don't even have to have the infrastructure on your own local devices, and your users or your team of researchers, you guys can all just consult in the cloud. And then you can work the same as any other program software. And sometimes people think that if you build with no code or low code, that means it's not secure. No, those platforms use the same platforms that all program software use. Amazon Firebase or all those other cloud services. So it's the same thing. They're the same. They're protected by the same security system. So they are equally as good. Okay. So what do? You pose your research question. You determine what types of data that you need. Okay. How would you codify your data? Pose your research questions. What will be the data? Is it, do you have text? Do you have images? Do you have sound? What is it that you have? Do you have themes and categories, etc.? And then you go ahead and codify. You create lists, you create themes, you create categories that the software can use, etc. All right, I'm trying to keep my eye on time. And then what exactly are you measuring? Are you counting things? How are you calculating your data? Transform it into zeros and ones that the computer can read, your different attributes, your list, your pages, however your data is, okay? You don't identify your research problem in social science, and that problem should be hard. Collect your data, all right? You select a platform to build on, an affordable and agile, adaptable platform, and then you go ahead and build an interactive, usable, friendly, and inviting interface where your subjects will engage with your data, and then you'll be collecting that data on the back end. Okay, that's the process. And I just want to show you guys before we leave or before I hand over just my sample build. Okay, I think I did mention that I have built some things just to share this with you. If you can still see, I know sometimes with Zoom, once you change slides, then people don't see. Can you still see? Can you see my different? Okay, so this is something that I'm building in News. I'm calling this the M editor. As you can see here, it has all different, you can calculate, this platform serves to pass out news to see how much journalists are sticking to journalistic canons. You guys know how we have problems now with news and bias and division, and everybody's going their own way. And what has been in my head is how much are journalists sticking to the original journalistic canons of fairness, objectivity, accuracy, and balance, so that the stories that they're sending out there to all of us are not one-sided. So you can see here, you can check any news source in your own local community, any news source that you follow. You can come here and put in any reporter's name. Okay, you can see here I have different reporters. Okay, and you can look at that reporter. Is that reporter, are his or her stories following the journalistic canons? And as you can see here, I have some indications, like you can see Steve Armey here seems to be a really good reporter. You see he has the green. That means he's really sticking to the journalistic canons, unlike John and Mary over here, who they have fair grades. So that helps people to determine where they are going to go to for their news, or who they are going to listen to, depending on who is following the canons, as opposed to those that are just sharing things that are dividing all of us and maybe misleading us as a people. So that's kind of what this study, or my build, one of my builds, is looking at. And to my school where I am here at but I've stopped sharing just to leave time for questions. My school is actually picking that up. They're starting to see that this could have some traction, and they're helping me move this forward. So I just want to encourage you to make sure that you take your idea out of your head, build something, start sharing it with people, and then see how it goes. If I have 1 or 2 minutes, I'll take reactions, questions, or anything that anybody might like to add.